Hi Flosstube, I'm Misty Purcell. I am the designer behind Luminous Fiber Arts, and I dye fabric as well. If you're new here, thanks for visiting me, and if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Today is Saturday the 8th of February, and I am crawling out from under the rock that I've been living beneath since late October. It's been a while. I'm sure if you've been here before, you know that I've been busy getting ready for market, and I finally hit the point last weekend after a small breakdown where I realized that I had finally gotten all of the, at least I think, I'd gotten all of the really involved tasks done, and now I just had like a million small tasks to do, so it suddenly felt like my progress really was speeding up, which was a huge relief. Thankfully, it was hard. I've been working really hard. So, what else can I say? I think I'll just go into it. So if you'd like to receive my newsletter to get updates when I have shop updates, I have a website now. I'm still using Etsy, but I have a website, and it's luminousfiberarts.com. Right on the home page, right near the top, there's a sign-up form for my newsletter, so hopefully that'll make it easier for people. What else? Oh, glad you guys enjoyed the Very Prairie Year Sal recap that Helen and Barbie and I did. That was a lot of fun. And Barbie was a really good sport considering how much she cut out and was paused. She really had a really good attitude about it, and we just had a lot of fun making that video, so I'm glad that you enjoyed it. What else? So I'll probably have a video for my market releases in a couple of weeks, and I should have grabbed the preview I was going to show you, but it's a little out of arm's reach, so I guess I'll show it to you later in the video. But I have 4 designs that I'll be releasing for Nashville. A couple of them are larger and will be booklet sized patterns. So I'm to the point now that I've gotten enough stuff done that I can actually be excited about market instead of like terrified of like, can I get everything done? So I'm starting to get excited. I really can't wait to show you the things I've been designing, and I think you're gonna like them, and I really love them, so I hope you do too. Is there anything else I want to say about market? I'll be in room 421. I'll be down the hall from Barbie, who's also going, and Helen will be going to help Barbie, so that's awesome. It seems like there's going to be a lot of us newbies on the 4th floor, so that's pretty cool. I guess that's it for now for market. I'll obviously talk more about it as it gets closer, but I think that's all I need to say for the moment. So I've been watching all these WIP parades, and this is a video about a WIP parade plus, you know, some things I've gotten done. Many WIP parades happening in the beginning of the new year, and I was realizing how I think people feel burdened by their WIPs sometimes and like feel some guilt about not finishing them and wanting to start new things. But I was also thinking about how, and I get that, but I was thinking about how you learn a lot about yourself in a way by having more projects going. And so that's something that I was thinking about. You know, I used to be kind of just a few cross stitch WIPs kind of person until maybe like Stitch Mania, when I started to consider the possibility of having more WIPs. But I realized that when you have a lot of WIPs going at once, you start to notice which projects you gravitate towards and which ones you don't, and then you can start to think about why. And if you only just have like 2 or 3, it's easier to just, I suppose, plow through them because you've only got a couple without, you know, maybe noticing as much whether you're enjoying the process or not. And so I think that, I guess I'm advocating for for having a lot of WIPs, or several anyway, just because I think it lets you notice what you like and lets you realize what you don't enjoy as much. And there's nothing wrong with not enjoying something, or realizing, oh, I just don't like this fabric, or, you know, this design's really good, but I don't like the colors as much, or the style isn't really me, I'm learning, or those kinds of things are actually really useful, and maybe we can all try to not feel so guilty about projects that aren't working for us. It's just kind of a discovery. So I've been learning things about myself as I've been rotating all these WIPs. So if I noticed something, then I will tell you. We're gonna start with my oldest WIP, which luckily isn't that old, but it will be probably. If I keep going on this, it will probably be my oldest WIP ever. So this is called American Flag Quilt Sampler, and it's by Rosewood Manor. I started this for my birthday in 2018. Some of you brave souls, I didn't intend to start a stitch along, but some of you brave souls were like, I'll join you, which was awesome of you. None of us knew what I was getting us into. And so I have been working on it on and off, but not usually during the school year because it takes a lot of concentration. I changed some of the colors. This is stitched on a 40 count soft ivory by Zweigart. These are all eyelets in the, in the word one. I've got a little thing here bumping into it. Okay. So I think this is beautiful, and it's really hard. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever stitched because of all the tiny fractional stitching and back stitching. And it's not that either of those things separately or together are that big of a deal. It's just the quantity. So I have the star portion of the flag done. Got a lot left to go. Like, this is a decades-long project, or at least a decade. So I hope that I do finish this one day. It is not going to be easy. There are more than 50 of these quilt blocks in this design. 54, 58, something like that. So I'm gonna try. But if I get to the point where I'm really not enjoying it, you know what? Life is short, and I'm not gonna punish myself. Like, I just don't have that much free time, and I want to have stitching be fun when I can. I have a lot of deadline stitching to do for my designs, and I'm just not doing that. I'm gonna have fun, darn it. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is all empty. I just took Christmas down last weekend, partially because I was enjoying it, and partially because I was busy. And I just took my tree down like an hour before I made this video. Same reason, I was enjoying it. Last year I didn't have my tree up, and I really missed it. So I just said, why not keep it up for as long as I feel like it? So that's what I did. So spring is going up because I'm not going to have time to transition from winter to spring with market coming up. So I've got boxes off camera, and hopefully over the next week or so I'll get my spring stuff up. All right, so that's what I learned about myself, that I picked a really hard piece, and that it takes a lot of concentration, and I only have really good mental capacity for that. Like, to give it that kind of energy in the summer, I have to devote a lot of my mental clarity to my job and my designs the rest of the year. So summer is the only time that I can really deal with that much attention. And so that's just something I realize about myself, and I won't pick other designs like that. I mean, I can pick things that are maybe involved in terms of a lot of stitches, but I'm just not gonna do things with a lot of fractional stitches. Yeah. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, Away We Ride, another birthday start. I gotta grab this one. Okay, so this was last year's birthday start. This is one I wanted to stitch for a long time, Blackbird Designs. I knew going into this that the border would kick my butt, and it is kicking my butt, but it's such a good border. I mean, seriously, it's very effective. So I just have to suck it up, and I haven't worked on this in a while, partially because it's fall and I'm starting to be in the mood to stitch fall again. I can stitch fall probably 8 or 9 months of the year, and we're coming back into the 8 or 9 months of the year that I can stitch it, starting right about now. So I do expect that I'll pick this back up, and I've already got all the tops stitched. I'm trying to work on the border and alternate border and middle, because if I leave the border till the end, it'll just be painful. And the thing about the border, why it's painful to stitch, is just that it's extremely slow going. It's a really slow border to stitch. It doesn't seem like it should be, but it is. If it went fast, this would be done. But it is so beautiful. This is stitched on 40 count macchiato, dyed by me, and I made one color change to the orange because at the time the orange that I needed was out of stock. Have I learned anything about myself? I already knew the border would be a challenge. I don't think I've learned anything new, just that this is awesome and Blackbird designs are awesome, but I already knew that. Looking forward to seeing those ladies at market this year. Let's have some coffee. It's time. Okay, number 3. Oh, I'm going alphabetically, in case you're wondering what the order is. It's alphabetical because I couldn't think of any other way to do it. Sometimes I have trouble deciding if these kinds of things are WIPs or not, but we'll call it a WIP. So I started Barnyard Christmas late last year, and I finished this one. You'll have seen it a couple times now. And so my plan is to stitch some more of them. I don't know how many. And just I'll probably put them on the tree. So I never know if this is a WIP, because honestly, like, I could just decide I'm done now and be done. Unlike, you know, the giant flag piece where I actually have to finish it or give up on it and leave it unfinished. So it is a WIP, I guess. It's just not quite the same category of WIP because I can stop anytime I want. This is stitched on 27 count macchiato Linda, which was also dyed by me. This is 1/1. I really like stitching 1/1 on the Linda. I think it looks really nice. I changed the brown to the anchor equivalent of 3371, and I thought it was very nice. I changed all the colors to look more like, oh, except maybe one of the greens, to look more like the actual cover horse. I mean, it's a pretty good match. But anyway, they were a little bit greener, maybe a little bit grayer, and I changed it a little. Okay, number 4. Started this last spring, I think it was. This was released around my birthday, maybe on my birthday, which I thought was kind of awesome. This is called Berries in a Basket. I don't have a pattern cover. It's a PDF that I bought from Jenny. She's Home Stitchness. So it's finally looking like a basket. I actually pulled this back out and worked on this week and got, you know, quite a bit filled in here. This one I'm stitching in hand, and I'm stitching it on 40 count macchiato. You noticing a theme here? Super pretty. Lots of color changes, so that is making it kind of slow for me, and I have to concentrate on the pattern to not screw up the color. So it's a little bit of a hard thing for me to work on at this time of year. Like I said, I gotta save my concentration powers for like pattern editing and things like that. So I don't know if I'll rotate this again until closer to the end of the semester. I will finish it. It's really cute. There's going to be cardinals at the top, some more berries. It's a really nice design. It's beautiful. She did a really nice job, and the shading is gorgeous. I filled in the yellow here, but I also kind of like it without any fill-in in the berries, so I might take that yellow out. The only change I made to the floss colors is the white is B5200 because that shows up a little better on my fabric. Okay, that was 4. Number 5 is Bitter Brew by Hands On Design. This came out at market last year, and I think this was one of the ones that actually came out at market. She released them in groups, but initially a set of 3 came out at market. I think this is one of the ones. Anyway, I started this late in the summer and put it down. This is, I got going on Halloween like gangbusters, but then I had to stop because I was getting ready to publish some designs. So I picked this back up today and I got a ton done, and depending on how my day goes, well, it probably won't get finished, but it's really close. I gotta do those potion bottles and the words at the bottom. I don't think I'm gonna do the outline stitching in the letters here, so I don't have that much left. And I really enjoyed this when I picked it back up. I'm not using any of the sparkly flosses or threads because I was lazy. And I converted this to Weeks Dye Works. This is stitched on 32 count Whisper, dyed by me. Whisper works for a lot of seasons. I've been using it a lot for Halloween stuff, but I'll have a design coming out on Whisper that's not Halloween. So, anything else I want to say about this? Nope, I don't think so. Okay. Oh, this reminds me. So I was stitching this when my washer, the pump to drain the washer, died. And so I think back and remember sitting in the laundromat stitching this and then running into a colleague unexpectedly at the laundromat on a Sunday morning. So it has weird memories of the laundromat associated with it, but not bad, just strange. Okay, next is Button Up. Oh man, you guys. I guess I did learn something about myself with this one. All right, so this is a stitch along that was started by Amy from Amy Loves Toads, Helen D, and myself. We started this Christmas Day of 2018. Sorry, this is 2020. It's hard to think. Okay. Years are hard. So we started this Christmas Day, and I did pretty well keeping up for a while. I think I actually stitched it longer than either the two of them. Like, they needed to, take a break from it sooner than I did, but then they picked it up a lot sooner than I did too. The problem I'm running into at the moment is they're having problems along the way of like picking two different whites. But it looks awesome. This is stitched on 32 count Snow Day. I don't know if I changed colors, I can't remember. But the problem I ran into is that, I did this line stitching here. I counted twice. I swear to you, I counted twice, but I'm not stitching it once. I discovered after I blocked this all off, stitched all this, that I was off by one. And I was like, ah. So, that was annoying, but the fix wasn't that hard. But then I found another mistake with my counting, and then I just got really mad. So I had pulled this back out a few weeks ago, thinking I was gonna knock this block out. And I can, it's just now I have to think really hard. And I was like, look at all that snow. And I'm just, it's not been a bad winter. We've not had that much snow. It's not been that cold. But I'm tired of stitching snow. If it's a snowman, that's cool. This was not bad. But just piles of snow, I'm just not in the mood. So something I learned about myself is that I don't like stitching piles of snow. The other problem is that this is a lot of stitching, and I'd have been better off stitching these as ornaments so that I could have quit whenever I wanted, and then maybe picked it back up 10 years later and done another ornament or so. So I made a mistake. I didn't know, but now I know. That's something I learned about myself. That I even though it seemed like a good idea to stitch it all on one piece of fabric, and I did realize that this would be a lot of stitching, but I just didn't really get it fully. These are a lot of work, and they're white, a lot of white. So I got to a point where I got really mad when I made those two mistakes, and I messaged Barbie and Helen, and I was like, oh, I wish I'd stopped stitching. I wish I'd realized I could have just stopped stitching there and been done and had 2 rows. That would have been enough snow and it would have looked fine. And they were like, well, I guess you could take out what you have here and cut it off. And so I was like, yeah. So I have to think about it. I think I am going to finish. And I might finish this part soon and then leave these two for the summer or 2 years from now when I'm not mad about it. I'm mad about snow, I guess. Me and snow. Okay. Next one is going to be a Halloween one again. I did notice that most of my WIPs are Halloween or seems like a lot of them are Halloween or Christmas. Yes. And I'd like to have a little bit more variety of each season. I'm liking having several smalls. 2 or 3 per season would be great. So I'm going to work towards that. Okay, so the next one is Hallows Eve at Raven's Hollow. There was a stitch along, and I imagine everybody's finished but me, because that's usually how it works with me and stitch alongs. This is by With Thy Needle and Thread. I'm considering leaving this part off, but I'll stitch everything but this and then make up my mind for sure, but I think it would look fine like that. I am stitching this on Whisper. That's what I'm stitching in hand too. So this is 40 count Whisper. So I made pretty good progress on it. I was waiting for a while on a color to come in, so I should have all the colors now. And I just need to kind of carry on. Very cute. I really like it. I've been using the ball tip needles for the stitching in hand, and I really like them for that, for doing the sewing method. Very nice. I don't really have anything I learned from that except that I like it. I didn't change any of the flosses. Okay, number 8. I stopped counting at some point. Number 8 is Sampler Lesson 4 by Plum Street Samplers. This was a gift from a friend. Thank you, friend. You know who you are. This actually came kitted up with the floss, so all I had to do was get some fabric for it. I picked this back up a couple days ago and worked on it some more. And I think it's really looking cute. Let me get... Whoop. This is 40 count macchiato. That sheep is too much, and I'm really gonna be excited about all the pumpkins. Not super excited about all the grass. I don't think I'll stitch the words at the bottom. I think the stuff at the top is good, so I'll end after the pumpkins and call it the end. Really, really, really pretty floss colors on this. Very soft. It's autumnal, but kind of springy, summery. I mean, it's really, I mean, the pumpkins, I guess, make it autumn, but otherwise I think it's kind of anytime, except maybe not winter. Okay, number 9 is Santa Rides. You've seen this before. This is another one of those I can stop whenever I want things. And I'd shown this, but I'm calling it a WIP, a quasi WIP, since I'm gonna make more. This is the one that I did. This is a 46 count. It's basically like sea glass. And I changed the colors to look a little bit more like the cover. You can see this is pretty big. I mean, this is 46 count. This is a pretty good sized ornament. So I would like to do more. I don't know if I'll do them all, but certainly possible. They're all very likable. I don't know if I'll do them all. We'll see how my stamina is for this. Really cute design. Glad I finally got around to doing that one because it's been in my stash a long time. Signs of Spring. I intend to pick this one back up pretty soon because it's spring. Prairie Schooler. I stitched 2 of these last year around this time. And you can see I changed the colors. This is 32 count macchiato. I was inspired by is it Vintage Pinker on Instagram? I can't remember now. I talked about it in an earlier video, who I was inspired by. I just didn't think to look it up, so sorry. I apologize. So I was inspired by the color choices. I think it was Vintage Pinker. Sorry if I'm wrong. And so I'm gonna stitch like 3 more of these and put them on my Prairie Schooler window. I think I'm gonna do the sheep, the ducks, and the rabbits. That is a lot of white, but it's not snow, so it's okay. So that'll go on my window. I don't know that I'll finish this year, but probably by next year I'll have the spring ornament part of my window display done. So I'm ordering some mini stretcher bars to put that on to stitch the next 3. I needed some that were a different size. Okay, lastly, this is number 11. That's not too bad, right? 11 whips. That seems reasonable. Last one. Yield Crow Sampler by Heart and Hand. This is on 46 count Opulence. And I'm using pea coat, so I changed the black. And I hit this point and then I stopped because I didn't know if I wanted to make, I'd seen a couple people make the pumpkin orange and the vines green, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do that or if I wanted the whole thing to be black. And it's probably just I'm choosing among 2 right answers because it looks good both ways. But I'm a little stalled because of decision making. So I really like this. I love Pea Coat by Weeks Dye Works. It's a great color. It's like a bluish black. Okay, that was my WIP Parade. A lot more whips than what I've had before, but still amount that feels comfortable to me. Okay, I had a finish and I had a fully finished object. Hard to believe that I found the time to do it, but I did. I see a kitty out my window. Okay, this is Jolly Happy Soul. And I kitted this up, I think it was last year, a little bit before Christmas, around Christmas. And this is by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I decided I was in the mood to stitch it. And I thought I was gonna stitch it on like a cream, like macchiato or something a little darker. But then I was like, maybe Snow Day, because I'd seen, I think maybe Amy from Amy Loves Toads and someone else had stitched it on blue. And then I thought about Faded Denim, one of the colors I dye, but I was like, it's not quite doing it for me. But Snow Day did it for me. So you can see, I started and finished this in about a week. It was a really fast stitch. This is 40 count. Yes, those cardinals are over 1 on 40 count. So not something I learned about myself, but something I learned. I didn't change any of the colors, by the way, but something that I learned is that, so I got for Christmas a new light from Santa, and Vanna had recommended it. It's a Brightec Pro LED. She'd been talking about them on an episode of Fiber Talk, and so I looked them up, and I was really interested because the light allows you to change brightness and hue, so you can have it go warmer or cooler. And a problem that I've been having this winter is I need to choose flosses for designs, and it's really difficult to tell how accurate the color is, and it really wasn't. So I'd be sitting on the couch with my light trying to choose colors, and then I'd have to kind of sit it across the room and look at it, or wait until daylight to make sure, and sometimes it would seem brighter than it actually was, so it'd seem wrong and it would be fine, or seem right and it would be wrong. So I was like, I need a new light, and I need one that adjusts, because I've had OT lights, but the OT light that I have does not bend close enough for me to see what I need to see. Like, I need it to be really close sometimes. So this had like an arm, and so I really like it. I think you could I got the one that has like the wheelie base, but I think you could get the one without the wheelie base, and I think it probably is really adjustable too. So it has a magnifier, and then it has like a ring of light around it. Really, really, really like it. I've been using it a lot. So that's what I was using when I was stitching the over one cardinals. The first time I did it, I just made it like a foolish mistake. I stitched it, and when I was done, I was like, that looks like crap. I mean, this is one strand over 1 on 40 count. So it's not like it, you know, and especially magnified, you can see it doesn't look that good up close. And I thought, oh, I should have done 10 stitch. And so then in the same session, I had struggled to see it a little bit. I ripped it out. I did the whole thing in 10 stitch. It looked worse, if you can believe that. Like, it didn't look like a cardinal anymore. It looked like a blob, a red blob. And then I had to rip it out again. And then I stitched it again. So I don't know. I spent my entire morning, my 2 hours of stitching, torturing myself. But what I figured out when I restitched it, I pulled this, I use a stand to stitch on. And obviously you kind of have that lower in your lap so that your arms aren't up like this. But to stitch something like that, I was like, I just need this closer to my face. So I raised the stand up really close, and then I put the magnifier really close on it so that it was like this. And you know, you can stitch like that for a short period of time. And that helped a lot. So cardinal number 2 and 3 were a breeze once I figured that out. And even though the stitches don't look amazing, unless you're right up there, you can't tell. So I'm fine with that. So this turned out really well. I love it. And I probably will finish it into a pillow. I was looking at some trims. I don't know that I'll finish it right now. I might wait till summer or just when I'm in a finishing mood, because I'm kind of feeling ready to start some things. I think I'm in a starting phase, and also just a rotate things a lot phase. So I'm just going to go with it. And in the fall, I was in a really big finishing phase. And so I'll just go with the seasons. Okay. Then my FFO. Can you believe it? Can't believe it. This one I actually finished a while ago, like a couple of years ago. Welcome Winter by the Drawn Thread. So cute. Now this does call for some silks. I guess all silks. I changed most of them. I used a couple of silks that were dinky dyes, I think. And then, yeah, it calls for a couple dinky dyes. And then I end up just subbing like over dyed flosses that I liked. And I stitched it on, I think it was 32 count vintage country mocha. This was back before I was dyeing my own fabric. I got to learn some specialty stitches while I was at it, which was cool. So I framed this. I've not finished the back. I was contemplating, they have all the seasons, right? So there's a Christmas one. The Christmas one might work with my frame. And so I was debating, maybe I shouldn't close up the back of this because maybe I'd want to switch it out between Christmas and winter. But then again, I don't tend to have a lot of time to switch decorations out that much between Christmas and spring. So maybe that's a bad idea. Okay, anyway. So here it is. Without further ado, it's so pretty. So happy with it. So this frame, I think you can kind of see, it's like a greenish, bronzish color. I had thought that I would just finish this myself on something, but then I finally was just like, well, I don't know how long this is gonna sit in my closet not getting done, and I'd really like to enjoy it, so why don't I just suck it up and buy a frame. So I stretched this. I sewed the buttons on yesterday on the little snowman. Really, really fun. Really pretty design. And I have a couple copies of this chart in my shop if you feel like you need to stitch this too. Alrighty. So I wanted to take a minute to say how very sorry I was to hear about the passing of Leanne from Lost in Floss. I saw Valerie's video from Stitching in the Barn and knew that from seeing that video that, you know, she must not be doing as well as I thought she was, and heard really soon after that she had passed, and it's just so very sad. I never met her, but felt like I got to know her from her videos with Barb and she seemed like a lovely person. So I just wanted to say my condolences to Leanne's family and to Barb. And Barb, just know that the community supports you. I think it's really awesome that people are stitching Baby It's Cold Outside in her honor. And I look forward to seeing that stitch along, and I think it's a really nice way to honor her and remember her. Okay, I got some haul / I'm gonna talk about something that I received that was a pass the stash. So I just decided to stop mentioning people, you know, just say I received something. So a very nice stitcher was kind enough to send this to me. Isn't that awesome? Ha. Bray Moon is so good. I love it. If you haven't figured it out, I really love Halloween. So I was super excited to receive this. Thank you. And haul. Can I reach it? Yes, just a second. Okay. This one's been on my wish list for quite some time. Snow Day by the Drawn Thread. So cute. Probably would stitch it on Snow Day also. I got that for the shop. Also, this one's really been calling to me. The Blue Flowers Color of Winter. I think that is so pretty. Someone's stitching this on Instagram, and every time I see them work on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I am tempted, I will admit, to modify this a little bit and possibly move one of the animals up here, take out the people, and take out the pot and do that. I don't know if that's too weird, but I was contemplating that as a possible way I would stitch it. Very pretty. So those are a couple of things I got. I've got some new charts in the shop. I've got Picture This. I've got linen. I've got Picture This Plus linen. I've got some Weeks linen, the Zweigart, and one piece that's the non-Zweigart base. And I've got a little bit of R&R in the shop. I've been putting my fabrics in sporadically as I have them. Mostly I haven't had much fabric because I'm getting ready for market, but I have had some on occasion and I'm just posting it. Sometimes I've had some seconds or just regular fabric. So I've not sent out emails about that. I just put them in and whoever happens upon them and buys them, buys them. So plans. Oh, I kind of went in and out of order. So, okay. Let me go back to plans and then I'll finish talking about my shop. Or I guess I'm done talking about my shop. Plans. And then something else. Okay. I really want to stitch this, which came out last year at market. I think it's so beautiful. I think it would be easier than stitching the giant flag, but it is a lot of stitching. The problem that I did learn about myself from many sals is that I don't do well with sals where everybody's stitching the same thing, and I think people are planning to stitch this soon. So I'm probably going to hold off. But I really like to start it. Oh, it's so pretty. But I'll probably have to wait because of that. Or I could start it and let it sit for a while. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there that I'm thinking about it. What I think I might actually start today if I have time, and I probably won't have time, but maybe I can get it set up. This has been in my stash for a while. Vintage birds. So pretty. Look at those eyelets on that peacock. And I like making eyelets. So I have the floss. I'm thinking of using a color of fabric that I've been developing. This is just awesome. I think this is happening really soon. Maybe today. Like I said, I don't know. I might go back to Bitter Brew. We'll see how my time goes. Lastly, because I need to be in compliance, I'm not currently in compliance, I need a red sampler. This will be my first reproduction sampler. This was not a market release last year, but I picked it up at market from Queenstown Samplers. I just got a couple for my shop in case you are needing to be in compliance as well. There's information in here about Mercedes, her family history, a little bit about how she died. She had an interesting family history, so I enjoyed reading that. There is some, this is mostly Schoolhouse Red by Gentle Art. So I got myself some floss so that I'm prepared. Then there's a little bit of DMC at the bottom where you see it changes color. That's what they're having you do, DMC. This uses a lot of floss, especially if you're doing on 32 count. I'm going to do it on 40 or 46 probably. And I feel slightly intimidated by the satin stitching. I think it's only at the bottom. But then I was like, well, it's just stitching, right? I mean, it's not going to look that bad, right? And if it does, then I can just take it out and leave it off or whatever. Like, I'm just, whatever, just do it. So I'm doing it. I don't know. It's going to be in the next couple of months. I might wait till after market. I'll see how my life goes, but it's happening soon. So those are some near-term plans along with signs of spring and who knows what else could happen. There is market coming up and I am looking forward to that. And I'm sure there will be, if Winter Rose Manor, is that what it's called? If Brenda releases that at market, I'm gonna drop everything and start it. I've been waiting for that since the moment they showed it from the Shepherd's Bush release, and I've been like, come on. Okay, so the last thing I have is a giveaway for you. If you hung on this long, good job. I mentioned in December that I was around 4,000 subscribers and it was my Flosstube anniversary. So I wanted to do a giveaway, and let me show you my market release real quick too. I'm all over the place, but since it's on the pile. Okay, here's the preview of my market release first. This is called Farm Fresh Eggs. Isn't it so cute? I showed this on Instagram and Facebook recently, but if you're not on there, then you won't have seen them. And so this is a little preview of a design I have coming out. This is just a little piece of it. So there's your little sneak peek. Here's the back. So look for this coming soon. I love this so much. Okay, back to the giveaway. I have multiple items to give away. Most of them are new, but a couple of them are past the stash. So 2 years of Flosstube, 4,000 subscribers, big giveaway. So let me tell you the details of how to enter, and then I'll show you what there is. So the giveaway closes on February 20th. You need to be 18 or older to be eligible for the giveaway. Please do not mention the word giveaway. You only need to comment one time. You don't need to make separate comments, even if you want separate things. And tell me what you like to stitch in the summer. It can either be genre, like you like to stitch reproduction samplers or patriotic, or you can tell me specific motifs, like you really like patterns that have flags on them, or fireworks or something like that. I'm looking for ideas, frankly. So I've got some ideas for summer, but summer's probably the season I have the least ideas for, so I welcome your suggestions of things I should design. I need ideas, so this is my way of getting ideas. I appreciate your input. So answer the question, what do you like to stitch in the summer? And then you can just mention the things after that that you're interested in being eligible to win. You'll win only one if you win. I'll just do a random comment picker, and I'll like have it in order or whatever, and then I'll just go through the comments, have it pick one for each one. So you can't win all of these, but you could potentially win one. So first thing, oh man, I should have gotten, let me, one moment. Okay, I'll show you these in person. So these are my favorite scissors. I got them last year at market. They're by Premax. They're an Italian company, if I remember correctly. You can see I've got a curved blade on mine. So I got these. I didn't think I needed a new pair of scissors, but my friend Cynthia was getting them. I think she might have gotten the straight blade. Because I have these Hello Kitty scissors, and I'm like, and I have a lot of scissors that I like, don't get me wrong, but I was like, I don't really need more scissors. But then she got them, and they looked so good, and they talked them up so much. They've got like this ring lock system. These are guaranteed for life. Anyway, I didn't expect to like them that much, but I love them. They're my favorite pair of scissors. So, one lucky winner will get their own pair of awesome Italian scissors. Same as mine. So if you'd like to be entered to win that, you can just mention scissors somewhere in your comment. Couple pass the stash things that are part of the giveaway. This is 14 count Picture This Plus Ada in colorway Ale, 13 by 22 inches. So this was in my stash. I'm gonna pass it along. So if you're interested in winning this, you can just mention Ale Ada. Very nice. But since I don't stitch on Ada really too much anymore, just thought, well, I'll let someone else enjoy it. Another pass the stash. This is from Victorian Motto Sampler Shop. This was the floss pack for 'Tis the Season. I used like one strand of it for the cardinal, and then I didn't use any more. So I'm gonna pass this along to you because I ended up converting it to my own colors. So you can just mention Victorian Motto threads if you're interested in winning this pack. Okay, the rest of these are new. I thought I would pick something from each season in honor of the 4,000. So pretty. This is Chuck Full Christmas by Erica Michaels. Now it says designs on silk gauze, but that's just the stocking right there. This is intended to be stitched on just regular fabric. I think that's such a pretty design. So that's one you can just mention Christmas. Okay, number 2, Scarlet House Coverlet Berry Scissor Tray. Mention something like coverlet or berry, something like that. Very pretty. Okay. Holiday Hoopla. Sorry, Vanna, I didn't really do that justice. Okay, this is the Halloween one by With Thy Needle and Thread. So you can mention Halloween or Hoopla. And Star Spangled Swine Farm by Hands On Design, the collaboration with Priscilla. You can mention Swine Farm if you'd like to be eligible to win this. So, I think that's all I have for you today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry it's been so long. It won't be so long before the next video. Definitely missed being here. It was just a matter of I had so many things to do that I had to do them and not make a video for just weeks and weeks, you know. That's just kind of how it went. So I finally have some time now and I'm really glad to be back. So I've missed you. It's good to be here again, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.